Allegedly. Allegedly.
Allegedly. Okay, whatever. You touched Bigfoot. Boy, you described it. I'm laughing at this story about him touching a Bigfoot, and it gets kind of funny.
Um, my name's Jasper. I'm actually been in Bigfoot research for probably going on almost 3 years now. I actually had a good friend that started out with me, and we went together. And I basically was asked, do I believe? And I told him, yeah, I believe. But you got a lot of people that will question you and go, do you really believe or do you think it's fake? And because there's a lot of people out here that will, it's if with anything, with the actor anyway, you're going to get critics. Um, so I told him, and we went out. We've done some stuff. We had actually had some thermal hits in the local areas, um, and then I told him about what happened to me when I was about in my 20s. I was in my first marriage. I was with my boys. I drove a truck. I drive a truck still now. I'd come on the weekends. Well, man, the boys, we'd go fishing. We'd go fishing, catfishing, camping. That was us. And we had a spot where we actually went to that we didn't have to pay to camp. It was a hidden little spot right beside of a mountain. And this one night, we've been there several times. We went to the spot and we were camping. We fishing all night long. About roughly around, it got about 1:30 in the morning. I was getting tired. Usually we fish all night, but I just came off work, so the boys were still fishing. I said, "Hey, let's get some shut eyes. We'll fish tomorrow, and or go home, or however y'all want to do it." And so we got to fishing, finished up fishing. We ate everything. We played late. My youngest one took off to bed. He was already passed out. He was gone. My oldest one was still up, kind of. I was up, and when in this area, there's no street lights, so it's pitch dark. I mean, you're under canopy, and it gets dark. And when I mean dark, it's dark where you can't hardly see your hand. That's how dark it is. And then all your senses kicks in. Your hearing, your smell, everything. Your eyes are like, okay, you hear certain things. This night it was quiet. We didn't have no crickets. We caught a few bass. We caught a few cats. Didn't really have a lot of success that night. So that we went laid down. I laid down. I basically have three person tent, which them being little and everything was perfect. One was over here, he was over here, my oldest one, and I'm laid down. And my son, my oldest one, he hears like a snap, crack, and he goes, "Dad, what was that?" And as a father, you're like, "It's nothing. It's no big deal. It's probably a deer. We're in the woods." Okay, you sure? Yeah, it's okay. Go sleep. Let's get some sleep. We get back in the morning. We get breakfast. Do what we got to do. And so we laid there, and we hear this. We hear it again. Well, at this time, I'm hearing it twice. And I was like, okay. And I didn't carry at that time. I didn't ever carry a pistol or anything. Even when we go out, he'll tell you, I usually have my hatchet, my knife, and a throwing knife. Usually, I can still grab anything. Because to me, when we do a camp out, we want it to be realistic as a camp out. We want them to be comfortable to investigate us and come see us. Now we do go hiking, we do go look for stuff, and we do go out. And during the day, we don't do a lot of hiking during the night because, like I said, we want them to be comfortable to come to us. We want. I would love to have one come up and have a cup of coffee or something, or just come up. And um, this night, we normal fishing, didn't think about no, I believed in stuff like that because I believe in heaven and hell. I believe in God, the Spirit, and the Holy Ghost and things. So why would I not believe in something that created like that because scientists are still finding things in the ocean. There's places in space that they're still finding. Um, we he fell asleep for a few minutes for a little bit. I dozed off. He woke back up and he used the bathroom. Go figure. And he's like, Dad, I gotta go to the bathroom. I was like, okay. Um, Going outside there and use the bathroom. He's like, no, I gotta do number two. I was like, okay. I said, well, open the door, go around the side over there. You know where to go and do your duty. I said, I'm right here. I can see you. I said, I got a spotlight. I can see you. Well, we hear something coming down, and to me, I'm like, okay, we either got a big animal coming in because it smelled the catfish, it smelled, our food cooking. I'm like, and we're on the side of a mountain, so we're on a big plateau, and there's a, road right here, the interstate. You wouldn't think something would, but it's a good water source. The lake and everything's right there. So as I hear this, my son he's scared. He's getting like that. That's not no deer. And I was like, calm down. It's okay. So at me, we lay there and I said, just be still. We'll lay here and we'll see what happens. So he lays down. He dozes off for a minute. I lay on my stomach. I flip over and lay on my stomach. At that time, I'm young. I always lay on my stomach. And I lay down just like this, and my hands like this, and my head's facing this way. And the next thing I know is this thing just sits right on the tent, right on my arm, and I go pretty much into defensive mode, steal mode. Like, okay, what just upset on me? My son reaches up, he's feeling over here. He said, "What is that?" I said, "Don't, just be careful, just be quiet." Whisper, grab my Bowie knife, reach it up there and give it to me. He's like, "Where's it at?" I said, "It's on my far side over here. It's next to me." Grab it, pull it out, I'll put it in my hand. I reach back, I get the knife, and I'm sitting here, and it's not moving. I don't hear no breathing. I don't hear. I can feel through the tent. You know how fabric the tents are. Well, I'm feeling the tent, and you can feel the hair. You can feel hair. And it's not like a deer hair when it's smooth. This is a rough, muddy, like it's like how a wet dog gets, and it gets matted. It's almost like that, and you can feel the roughness kind of through the tent. But I'm sitting there going, okay, and my mind's racing. I was like, okay, this can't be a deer. Maybe it's a hog. So as I'm moving, I start raising my arm up with this bottom on my arm, and I'm just barely pushing on it, going back down. I was like, you figure a hog more than likely would feel something moving it'd get up, or you'd hear it snarling. A bear, you'd hear it grunting or sniffing around. A deer usually is quiet, but more than likely, if they feel something threatening them and touching them, they're gone. Um, I was thinking, bobcat, but I was like, I don't see why a bobcat would be laying down in my tent because this thing was the size of my butt. I mean, I got a big butt, but it was huge. And I'm like, that's a big bobcat or a mountain lion. You would hear it. I'd feel, a cat would purr. Mountain lions do purr. All cats do purr. I'd figure, it'd say, okay. So I'm doing that a couple more times. I take the knife, I take the point in. I start poking little bits at a time, needle print. Figured, okay, this thing's got to jump. It's going to jump and run. It's going to feel something sticking it or stinging it. Figured, I poke it a few times. I don't go real hard, just barely poke it. It doesn't move. I'm like, okay. And I'm saying my son's, he's kind of freaking out. I said, you still got to use the bathroom? He's like, no. So that's what I thought. I said, just go sleep. I said, I've got it right here. I said, if it wanted to hurt us, we'd be running right now. I said, I don't hear no growling. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. If this thing stays here all morning. Well, the Bigfoot community always thinks that Bigfoot can telepathically make you calm, make you do something, not hurt anything, but make you infrasound. Yeah, infrasound. Basically, do an infrasound with a noise to either make you sick, make you get out of the area somehow. Something like a defensive mechanism in a way, and I believe just going over and trying to think of how, because when I'm sitting here like this and this thing's not moving, the next thing I know, I'm waking up the next morning. My youngest one's gone. He's outside fishing. I don't know it. I get up, tent's open. He's out there. He's already out there fishing, and I'm like, okay, what just happened? And my son the oldest one wakes up with me, and he goes, hey, what was that? And I said, I don't know. He said, well, when did it leave? I said, I can't really tell you that because I don't know when it left. At first, I felt I was anxious. I was in defensive mode. I was in protective mode. I was in every single mode trying to figure out how to protect my kids and how to get out of here, safely. Well, when feeling that, and during, I think it was probably all that going on. I think it was about 2:30, almost 3 o'clock in the morning, which everybody says that's the wicked hour. I just felt calm come over me, just basically calm, and I was gone, sleeping. And I believe it hit me with the sound, and to make me calm, and made me go sleep, and he was able to get out of there. We got up the next morning. We didn't have no footprints. We didn't have anything. But we did have a print of a rear end. Pretty sized rear. I mean, you can tell the rear end. It was a rear end. Right where the tent is. You can see where the dirt was up on it, on the tent and everything. But other than that, we didn't have no other evidence. Nothing was missing. We don't know. I think either it was there, either protecting, or it was just stopping by. Because I've been there before since then, and I haven't seen any signs of anything else been through there, except for homeless people being stuck in the woods and hiding. Which we went and actually checked it out, and stepped in the power. Yeah. So we knew it was like, yeah,
he had a crappy day.
Yeah. But other than that, that's where everybody says, I speak with butt.
Now, y'all think that's one of the best words I've heard. Other than, except for on television all the time. Now, who knows? Who's heard of Pat? How about that last time? Yeah, the first day.
Pat Patterson.
Yeah, Pat Patterson. Who's heard of that guy? Well, have y'all ever seen the footage? They actually determined, FBI has analyzed that video. The whole argument is analyze that video. They cannot prove it. Because you can see most of the movement when the creature walks. I mean, that Bigfoot, they named it Patty because it was be a female. So pay attention, it does have some feminine pieces about it.
Yeah, they have determined that was a real video of them. And they actually show that as Expedition Bigfoot. They just recently had a guy that does costumes, and they had him looking at it video, and he went down how, because they go off what site. And he said, I can't make a costume like that, because that's what everybody's like, oh, it's just a man in a costume, 7 to 8 foot tall dude. It's in a costume, and they determined that's not a costume. So,
y'all remember how I said the history and the dollars go hand in hand? Well, one of the best books in this area, but you have to read before white man showed up here. Because who's going to know more about the area, us or the Native Americans? So one of the books, anything like, Native American literature, history, folklore, it's good. I mean, actually, I have one of the books I use for reference for this area. The James Mooney History of Myth and Sacred Forms of the Cherokee. I highly recommend that one if you really want to get started in that, doing your research for Bigfoot, because there's two different ones to talk about here. The Sukaloo, also known as the Slow Giant, or if y'all watch Monsters, they call it the Cherokee Devil. That's a good reference too. And I don't have a printout with me, but I just thought about it earlier when I first got here. But they actually had a sighting of a stone man up on Lookout Mountain in the 2 years after the Civil War ended. It was like talked about the Atlanta Constitution. And now, who here's heard of Mothman? Now, who here actually will have anything about Mothman? Because this is the go-to book for that. Mothman Prophecies. I also got a documentary. If you ain't got time to read, you can go watch the documentary. I highly recommend this book if you're more into Mothman than Bigfoot. Now, can tell me the oldest cryptid talked about in the U.S.? Nope. Young lady, you mentioned it earlier. Yep. Also known as the League's Devil. Now, the story about that one goes is there's a lady, she was pregnant with her 13th kid. I don't know what that guy was on, but I want some. But in the trials of labor, she said, let it be a devil. The moment it was born, it transformed to what we now know as the Cherokee Devil, or the Jersey Devil. And it's been found all over, put in New Jersey, Philadelphia. Yeah, even Philadelphia. Guys, let me tell you, Mothman, everyone sees him as a bringer of doom. Because he got seen, next thing you know, that whole bridge collapsed in Point Pleasant. There are some people who are claiming he was seen just before Chernobyl went down. Yeah, and now he's being sighted again in Chicago. They actually talk about that on Expedition X, which is another good show. The host is named Josh Gates. Yeah, I love that guy.
He's got several different shows that he does, goes and checks out stuff.
If you want to know about books and stuff, I'd recommend that they have Hill Gravel. And they've already said the books, they have good books on Bigfoot. They've already been checked out by somebody, but there are some books right there on the square table. They're, all right, okay. Everyone's from this area, right? Who's heard of Green Eyes?
You're from this area and you don't know about green? Oh, okay.
Well, what would y'all say if there's evidence to support that Green Eyes may not be a ghost, may not be a spirit, but he might be a Bigfoot? Because if you go back to the Civil War sightings, they're describing a creature, 2 legs, covered in hair, with protruding fangs. Gee, what cryptozoology creature do we know does that sound like?